This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast. You are listening to WFNU LP 94.1. That's Frogtown Community Radio. Or you could be listening to Frogtown Radio on Frogtown Radio's very own smartphone app. Just go to your app store and search for Frogtown Radio, and you can listen to us worldwide on the go. And you can always find us at WFNU.org. Welcome back to So St. Paul, a show that's all about, you guessed it, our favorite city, our capital city, St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm your host, Katie DeSelle, and I am here every Thursday evening from 5 to 5:30 p.m., bringing you the best information, news, events, people, places, things that are happening in our favorite city. And I want to let you know that this episode is presented in partnership with Minnesota Public Radio and Little Moments Count. Little Moments Count is a statewide collaborative focused on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 3 years of life. Nearly 80% of brain growth happens in the first 1,000 days, and small moments of interaction like talking, playing, reading, and singing help create the pathways that build a child's brain during this early stage of life. You can find out more information by visiting littlemomentscount.org. And WFNU is very excited to be partnering with Little Moments Count to host these conversations focused on early childhood development. We'll be welcoming a new guest each month to talk about their involvement in Little Moments Count and how they view the role of early childhood development in creating bright futures and strong communities. I'm excited to welcome to So St. Paul today, Stephanie Berwald. Stephanie brings over 20 years of dedication and experience to the early childhood field. Stephanie's diverse background includes experience as an early learning supervisor at multiple school districts, a teacher, coordinator, and trainer across numerous educational settings, including childcares and Head Start programs. She earned her undergraduate degree in early childhood education and psychology from Concordia University and a master's in educational leadership from Minnesota State University Moorhead. Stephanie is deeply committed to fostering the growth of young learners and their families, and she's here today to talk to us all about St. Paul's ECFE program. Thank you for being here, Stephanie. Welcome. Could you explain what the ECFE program is and how it supports young children and their families?
Yes, ECFE, which is short for Early Childhood Family Education, is a program designed to support parents or primary caregivers in their role as their child's most important teacher. ECFE was created in 1974 on 4 main guiding principles. One, that it's about families, and because families have the most significant learning environment for kids. So we want to really work with families so they know how to meet social, emotional, intellectual, and physical needs. So that was one of the principles that it was founded on. Another one was it's about parents, so that parents know some of the knowledge and skills to effectively raise their children. And it's also been found that parents who are involved in their child's early education and development are likely to be involved throughout their whole K-12 and beyond school systems and being involved in school with that. We really want to give parents that education and get them involved. Then it's about young children, the third principle, and about how important the first 5 years of a child's life is and how critical it is to brain development and social and emotional and cognitive development. And the last principle that ECFE was founded on is really about communities and how the community can give back to the family. And when families have that education and everything that they need, they can give back to the community, and it's a cyclical thing. So those are really the big 4 principles of ECFE and what they're founded on.
Great. And so you mentioned up to age 5. ECFE, it can be for parents and any child under age 5. Is that correct?
Yep. Yep. So when children, once you find out you're expecting, you can even join like an expectant parents class and up till they enter kindergarten. Once they enter kindergarten, they go to the K-12 system then.
And is this both mom and dad, or is there more?
It can be mom or dad or any primary caregivers. So let's say grandma does the main child care in the house, or even raises their kids, or an auntie raises the kids. Anybody that does that main primary child care can come to ECFE.
Oh, great. I didn't know that. That's very cool.
Yep.
What types of activities and resources does ECFE offer to help parents and caregivers in their child's early development?
Yes. So ECFE, when you think of ECFE, you primarily think of, I would call it the traditional ECFE model, where it's an ECFE class, where I'm going to say parents, but it's parents or caregivers come and do an interaction time with their kids. And then the parents can go to a parent education time with a licensed educator, and the children go to an early childhood time with a licensed educator. So they each have their own separate times, and then they come back together. So that's like a basic traditional ECFE class. But ECFE covers a whole lot of other direct services. So we can do outreach and family community events. It can be workshops. We could have speakers come in. We have drop-in classes where people don't have to commit to a certain amount of time and can just come as they can. Field trips. But we also have people that go into the hospitals and visit the newborn babies when they're born. Or we have a whole home visiting program with ECFE where if families can't make it to a class, or they have some other big trauma or a big something going on within their family, they can have some licensed parent educators actually come out to them and within their home or an area where they meet, like a library or a coffee shop or wherever they want to meet, and do some parenting classes one-on-one. ECFE can also be like just a parent-only model where just the parents come and the kids don't come. And it can really look like anything. So we have a lot of specialty classes here in St. Paul. So we have like non-separating infant toddler only classes. You can do classes with specialists such as public health, special education, a counselor can come in. In St. Paul, we also have specific language specific classes. So we offer Korean and Hmong and Somali and Spanish classes. So families can come and we have a language interpreter there for them so they can understand what's going on. ECFE can have the traditional model, and it can be a whole big scope of other things.
That's great. I have a daughter who's 12 now, but when she was under 5, I did ECFE with her in St. Paul. And it was so helpful as a new mom, as a single new mom, and not knowing what the heck I was doing. It was really nice to be able to have that little bit of a break from my daughter where she could go play with other people, other kids, and then to learn from not just the instructors for ECFE, but the parents that were also there dealing with the same struggles, like, oh, how are you getting sleep, or she's not eating, these kind of things that you feel like alone in. Nice to have that kind of community surrounding us.
And you do build that community, and that community sticks with you. Like I went to ECFE when my kids were very little, and that very first ECFE class I went with, we still talk to each other to this day. So like, it's great to have that community, and my kids are teenagers now. So it's a whole other realm of parenting that I'm in. And it's nice to have that community to go back to and be like, are you experiencing this still? Yes. Yeah, that's what we're doing too. How are you handling that? So it's nice.
Yes. I wish there was a version of ECFE for teenagers.
I agree. Yes.
Can you just briefly describe why the first 3 years of life of a child's life are considered a very critical period for their brain development?
Yeah. So when a baby is born, its brain is about the quarter size of an adult. And by age 3, it's about 80% of the size of an adult. And by 5, it's 90%. So between birth and 3, that baby's brain is making all these connections. It's learning things from different activities it's doing. It's the most adaptable that it can learn. So that's a great time to have all sorts of positive early experiences, such as ECFE, but that's when the brain is making those connections to wire itself. So it's figuring out what's happening when a trauma happens and how to handle yourself emotionally with different situations that come up, but even how to do things cognitively. Or one of the biggest things is to cross the brain and to have your right arm cross over to your left side and have those wires be able to cross over. So there's so many things that happen to the brain. But by age 3, 80% of your brain has grown. All those experiences make that profound impact on that baby's brain's life or that child's life.
Yeah, that statistic is just always shocks me that 80% of a child's brain is grown by age 3. It's just, I think because kids don't communicate the way that adults do, you don't realize like how much they're absorbing and how much they're learning in that period of time.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
These like singing, playing, and reading with your children, how much do they influence their cognitive and emotional growth?
They are huge to do. So like singing, if you think about it, it's rhythm, repetition, rhyme. They're learning vocab. So if you think about it, a lot of that rhythm, repetition, and rhyme are pre-reading skills that kids are working on without even doing it, with making it just fun and playing. So singing is really something that you can do that's really fun and easy with kids. Reading is one of the best things you can do with your child, reading aloud to them. It helps increase their vocab. It helps them figure out how to focus for long periods of time. And also it's helping with their memory retention and remembering characters' names, plots, what happened, events that happens. So reading really I feel like reading is one of the things that can really expand what happens in a child's brain, as we were talking about those wires and those connections. And for play is the child's work. That is the most important way that children can learn, is through play, because they have to figure out problems and solve problems and remember sequences and use their imagination to create new worlds. And it develops their cognitive and their motor, and it helps with emotional regulation. So there's so many different ways that children can grow from playing and just exploring in different environments. So all of those really influence their growth throughout their whole lives.
So along with like parents reading to their children, what are some other ways that are effective for parents to help their children like learn and play, anything they can incorporate into their routines with their kids?
Yes. And I like to think about, when we do stuff like this, what you can incorporate without any added stress. Because I feel like as parents, there's a lot coming at us every day. There's a lot going on. And we hear a lot of research all the time. So really what I try and tell families and parents is just to be present and engaged with your child. Sometimes like that's putting your phone down, your screen away, and just being with them. But there's easy ways to add it to your like daily routine. Like you're getting dressed in the morning, you're talking about the colors you're putting on, what color socks, what color shirts, what body part your socks go on your feet, how many toes do you have? You count your toes. So you make it into your normal daily routine. You're eating breakfast or a meal. You can talk about you can count what you're eating. You can sort your foods, like you can sort your vegetables and your fruits. And then you can add vocab words like sour, sweet, crunchy, all of those good things. One of my favorite ways to incorporate learning into daily life is laundry, because I feel like laundry's always there and we always have to do laundry. But it's such a great thing to do because kids are up, they're moving, so their gross motor is moving, but they can be sorting, they can be matching colors, you can be counting, you can do so much learning in a little laundry bucket. So I think that is a huge thing that kids have them help you with that. So there's really easy ways to add it to your day without adding a lot of extra stress to it.
Yeah, and then it makes it fun for the parent too. You're not just another load of laundry. If you have it like a game and you're telling the child what you're doing while you're doing it, it's less of a chore.
Yes, absolutely. It is. Yeah.
You mentioned, I know a lot of parents are stressed, new parents, or not even new parents. What are some common challenges that parents face with young children, and how can programs like ECFE help them address these?
Yes. So I would say a lot of common challenges are, a lot of things that we hear about is sleeping, how to get your child to sleep through the night, or different sleeping things that come up. Feeding is a big thing that I feel like picky eaters, children are picky eaters. How do you get them to eat more? How do you sneak vegetables into their foods or not? Those are big common challenges that parents have. Potty training, when you get to potty training, that's, I feel like, a big thing that comes up. When your child is ready, are they not ready? It does get really tricky with all those challenges that you have. The one thing that's great about it is with ECFE, we have licensed parent educators. So when you come to ECFE, you can talk with people, you can talk with your community that are facing those same challenges that you have. And then you have a licensed parent educator that's there and telling you what the latest research is. And then you can talk about ways that what you can do with this research and with this information and try different things at home. And you have a group of peers in your community to talk about it. So ECFE really does help with a lot of those common challenges.
That's great. I know, as I said, they really helped me because I was feeling the stress and I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know what I didn't know. And ECFE helped me a lot to learn. Besides myself as a success story and my daughter, are there other examples of success stories from ECFE families, or maybe how early intervention has had a positive impact on families and children?
Yeah, we hear stories from families all the time. Some of the big things that you hear about is people came to a welcome new baby class that's for just a brand new baby. And they were sharing their stories of like sleepless nights and wondering, am I feeding, or is my child getting fed enough? But just having that parent educator there to listen to them and to validate their feelings and provide that safe space for them to discuss really has helped. We get a lot of information from families. So I have a couple quotes. We just did a survey with our families that were there, and we said, what would you like to tell other families? So some of those quotes said, ECFE has been one of the most formative experiences for us as a family. We look forward to it every week and have learned so much. It's helped us navigating the years as a first-time parents, and it's kept us grounded and focused on what's important. It sparked many conversations between myself and my parenting partner about things that we would likely have not talked about without ECFE. But because of ECFE, it has helped us identify what's important for us as parents. So there's lots of comments we get like that about how it just helps guide families through those times as they enter the first few years of parenting.
Right. Oh, that's good timing on those quotes.
I know it is. It really was.
What advice do you have for new parents or caregivers who want to create a nurturing and stimulating environment for their children, but don't have any idea where to start?
First, I would like to tell parents that it's a marathon. You have kids for 18 years. You really have them the rest of their lives, but 18 years is when their formative years with you. So it's a marathon. Really just try and think of it as a marathon. You don't have to do everything. Really think about that connection with your kids, that safety. Like I said before, weave things into your everyday interactions. Ask for help if you need help. Go to your doctor or other professionals. Find ECFE. Find a place to help if you're really overwhelmed with everything. But really, the most important thing to do is really be present with your child and to talk, sing, read, play, and just be with your child and try and weave things into them and give them the gift of you to them.
I love that. Give them the gift of you. Yeah, I think it's easy for us to tune out, especially when you're tired and stressed and you don't have, there's plenty of books on parenting, but there's nothing just specific to your situation. So it's easy just to go scrolling on your phone or do something else. But the gift of you is great.
Yes. And often scrolling on your phone almost takes you down because it's the highlight reel, they say, of watching everybody else and the amazing things they do. And that almost goes the wrong way because you think, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. It's more important. Put your phone down and just be present.
And nobody's posting about their sleepless nights and their child crying.
No, not at all.
They're curated. How can people find out more about the ECFE program in their community or school district?
So ECFE is in every school district in the state of Minnesota. ECFE is exclusive to Minnesota. It's the only state that offers it, but every school district has it. So I would say reach out to your school district and see what opportunities they have. There's also a program online. It's Me Connect. And if you go in there, it can connect you to ECFE or other programs if you're looking for different things. So you can say that you're looking for childcare and it'll connect you to some childcares. Or if you can look for parenting classes, it'll connect you to ECFE or other parenting classes. So this Help Me Connect is a great tool that our state has come up with to help families looking for services or resources.
Oh, great. So you can just Google Help Me Connect and they'll take you to all these resources.
Yes.
Great. What steps should interested families take to get involved with ECFE? Should they just go to Help Me Connect? If someone doesn't know where their school district, is there a ECFE website that has this information?
Oh, I would say Help Me Connect would be the best resource, because wherever they're located, that Help Me Connect, if they type in ECFE, it'll send them right to whatever their local ECFE, and it'll have actually that person's contact name on there so they can send an email directly to them. So I would say go to Help Me Connect if you don't know where your local school district is. If you do, call your local school district. They should be able to connect you to whoever is involved with ECFE, and they'll help you try and navigate and find a class. And remember, if you can't find a class that fits, we always have our home visiting program that we can figure out a way to go into your home and be that bridge to whatever services or outreach you might need to.
And are there any specific eligibility criteria or fees, or is there a sliding scale? How does that work?
Yeah, so ECFE, the only eligibility guidelines is that you have to have a child. It's for families with kids ages birth through entering kindergarten. So we like to keep those young kids, and they come when they're young and early childhood. And then once you enter kindergarten, you're in the K-12 system, and you can go and there's resources for families within the K-12 system. But in ECFE, we do have a sliding scale fee that they can come, and to attend ECFE, you need to go, and when you register, they'll say, what is your family income? And then there's a sliding scale fee based on that income. But the great thing with ECFE is we never turn any family away if they aren't able to pay. So if you go there and that income guideline says it's too much that you can afford, just say, hey, can I waive the fee? And we waive the fee for anybody there, because ECFE is mainly state funded. Most of the money we get in is from the state. So we want all families to come and have these services.
That's great. I didn't realize that nobody would be turned away. That's amazing for Minnesotan families. And I also didn't realize ECFE was an only Minnesota program.
It is. I know. I've gone to conferences across the country, and they're all jealous of ECFE, and they wish they had it. Yes.
Lucky to have ECFE here.
Yeah.
So much, Stephanie. Is there anything else you'd like to add about ECFE that you don't think we covered, or things you just really want people to know?
I think we covered a lot of it. I would just say if you're nervous about it, or if it feels like it's a big step, there are resources. So even if you look at the classes or the fee scale or any of the information that you can find about ECFE and it feels overwhelming, just reach out, because we know our programs and we know what options we can give. And there's a whole lot of different service models we can give. So more than likely, there's something that we can do to meet your needs. So even if you look and nothing works, just reach out to us and ask questions. And we are more than willing to work with families.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming on and talking about ECFE.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much to Stephanie Berwald from St. Paul's ECFE for coming on So St. Paul today. You can hear a recording of this show at littlemomentscount.org/podcasts. And if you'd like to learn more about Little Moments Count, you can visit their website at littlemomentscount.org. Thanks for tuning in to So St. Paul, a show that's all about, you guessed it, St. Paul, Minnesota, where we bring you all the news, events, people, and places and things that make our capital city great. I'm your host, Katie DeSalle, and I will be back next week to give you more great things about St. Paul every Thursday from 5 to 5:30 p.m. And you are listening to WFNU LP 94.1. That's Frogtown Community Radio. Or you could be listening to Frogtown Radio on Frogtown Radio's very own smartphone app. Just go to your app store and search for Frogtown Radio, and you can listen to us worldwide on the go. And you can always find us at wfnu.org. Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.